Hello, 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 and welcome back to the 31st episode of the Nifty Cauldron podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Milan, and joined today by a slightly broken co-host.
Kelly, yeah.
What's up, Kelly? Before we dive into it, though, if you enjoy what we do, if you like our content, remember to leave a like, subscribe, hit that bell to get notified whenever a new episode drops. But yeah, how are you? Why are you broken?
All right, so I thought my voice was actually sounding way better today, but I guess not. Apparently, I still sound like shit. So, hello, welcome. The reason why my voice is borked, is the fact that I went to Disneyland on Wednesday. So at the time of airing, this would be the week ago on Wednesday, or the previous week on Wednesday.
The last Wednesday of April.
The last Wednesday of April. That's a good way to say it. So yeah, I went to Disneyland. I admittedly, when I'm at Disneyland, I act like a fucking idiot. I yell a lot. I scream in the club. I scream like I'm being ripped inside out when I'm on rides because it's funny and it makes everybody around me laugh. But it causes me to lose my voice because not only that, but I'm not used to talking a lot, like a lot in public where it's loud, as well as wearing a mask. So I have to like project, and that's like a lot of vocal strain on top of screaming like an idiot. So yeah, I ended up having a fucking terrible voice. But I still streamed anyways because fuck it. It doesn't actually hurt. Like me talking does not hurt at all. Like I didn't lose it. It wasn't like painful or whatever. And I lost it having fun. So I don't think it was that big of a deal. But yeah, I ended up streaming anyways. I still sound a little hoarse, sound a little croaky, and my voice apparently is a lot deeper today. So enjoy this ASMR.
Did you lose it like during the day, or did you wake up? Because when I lost my voice, I just woke up like, oh, it's gone. It's just not there anymore.
Basically, I was fine until I ate a corn dog, and then all of a sudden my voice was just like, I'm done.
All right, this is it. I'm out.
Yeah.
This is where I draw the line.
Sometimes when you get that hot corn encrusted meat in your mouth pussy, your voice just gives out. So that's literally what happened.
Fair.
I was chilling. I ate a corn dog, and then I died, and then my voice was scratchy and terrible the rest of the time. The next morning, I woke up and I couldn't even, I could barely even whisper. So.
Yeah. I mean, luckily, you still have your voice. You know, like you had it.
Yeah.
Like in comparison to me, like you've heard me on the day of.
Yeah.
It didn't hurt, again, and it's not supposed to hurt, but I had to strain to get any kind of sound out. I remember I sent you like a minute-long recording or something, and there were like 3 words in there that were audible because I couldn't.
Yeah, there's just no sound that came out. No. So like my voice works. It just, I sound like a shitty Marge Simpson impersonator, but at the same time, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
So whatever. We're here. We're recording the podcast. May this live forever in infamy, and my shitty Marge Simpson voice. Hashtag winning. I don't know.
I wouldn't even say it's like, so to me, especially on stream, reminded me a lot. I think I even mentioned this on stream. The TTS voice I used, like little child voice.
A child? I sounded like a child?
No. Just very similar to that voice with certain things. And it just...
I become a robot?
No, not even a robot. It's just like watching you last night was like weird to hear you say those things in that voice. Like I didn't like it. I was like, I don't like this. This is freaking me out.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
I don't know. I'm not used to your sound, to your mouth producing those sounds. So it just sounded off.
I mean, it's just like that one time where you joined voice chat and like your fucking microphone wasn't going through your mixer. It's just the raw mic. And then where I was like, no, you sound wrong. You sound wrong.
It wasn't even the wrong mic. Like you even called it. It was actually my webcam just being used as a microphone. Because I tested the raw mic. Like my raw mic should not sound bad regardless, right? It should just not be EQ'd, but it's still a high quality microphone. But it was just my webcam. So that's why it sounded so wrong. Because I went back to the VOD to like hear like how bad it was.
Sounded?
I was like, oh yeah, no, that's my webcam.
It sounded like you were like, it sounded like you were like talking into a cave.
Yeah. It's just my webcam, right? That's sitting. I mean, you have the same webcam, so you know what it's like.
Exactly. It's just fucking shitty. And then so it was like that jarring then.
For me, like, just, I don't know. I'm not used to you speaking at that level or that tone. So it was very weird to hear you say all that degen shit. You know what I mean? But sounding the way you do.
Yeah. So like, okay, so was it because like when I was whispering, when I was doing like the whisper, or
no, like when you were talking normally? Because it reminds me a lot of the TTS voice. The one I used that you didn't like.
Yeah, the one that sounds like the fucking ones that they always use in the TikTok videos.
I don't watch TikTok. I'm too old for that. But probably.
Damn, homophobic. No, just kidding. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess I gotta look back and like watch the VOD or whatever just to get a feel for it because I'm also trying to like not to because I feel like once I like hear my voice and I'm just gonna like fucking cringe into infinity because to me I sound like a shitty Marge Simpson and I can deal with that. But if I sound something different than that and I really don't like it, I'm never gonna live it down.
I mean, your voice is broken, so even if you don't sound the way you expect it to, by the time you stream again, you'll be fine, right? Like it's not like this is like your voice didn't morph into this, and this is your new voice going forward. You know?
Yeah, that's true. At least I hope so.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine, just like a little bit. I mean, scratchy or like sometimes when you just hit that off key, you know. But no, like
Yeah.
it's at least good that you still have your voice because you don't live alone, right? Like you have to communicate with the people inside your household, at least to a certain degree.
I mean, do I really need to? I'm just kidding. No, I mean, like it was fine, and then like I could just whisper at them for the most part. Like I just,
Yeah, but like if you had lost it like I had, right? Like
oh yeah,
you would have had to like write on a notepad or some shit to
yeah,
to convey what you wanted. So that would have sucked.
yeah. Sometimes you just gotta brute force it. So Disneyland was really awesome. I had a good time. I went with Ariel, which of course was absolutely wonderful. We shared a plate of proposal pasta, and I think she got like beef tacos, and then I also got what did I get? I got the spring rolls, which fucked. But we went ahead and ate.
Wait, hold on. Interrupt you.
Yeah.
Before you go on how awesome and fun it was, can you explain to the listeners how come you got to go to Disneyland? I thought it was closed. Like what
Oh
happened?
yeah.
Are we still in the pandemic? Like what's going on there?
You're right. Lamau. Okay. So one, bitch, I'm vaccinated. Two, they had a lot of changes specifically with Disneyland and how they're making it CDC compliant. First of all, you can't ride the tram in. So that way you have to just basically walk in. But it was the reason why Disneyland was closed and why I got to go is because it was a cast preview. So things were smaller, a lot more contained, but it basically was friends and family of cast members and then VIP people that were, at like Club 33 members, like super bougie. And that's pretty much all that could go. So it was super small. Like it was wild. We went into Tomorrowland and like that bitch was a ghost town. There was like fucking 2 people that were there and they were like fucking Disneyland staff. Like we literally were in Tomorrowland. There was nobody around as well. So it was super small, super contained. Pretty much we got on every single ride within 10 minutes, which was pretty sick. So yeah, it was a good time because we literally walked on everything. They did a couple of renovations while the park was closed. Snow White got like a change. They changed the ending where basically
Oh my god, spoilers.
what?
Spoilers.
How's that spoilers?
For people who don't know yet. I'm just fucking
They literally posted about it online, but also like, yeah, okay.
because you said so I got a new ending, so like, oh my god. Spoiled the ending of Snow White.
Snape killed Dumbledore. Get the fuck over it. Basically what happened is that like at the end of the ride, it's basically like the evil queen like has like that wrinkly old like shit bag falling off the cliff going like fuck I vape and then like she's either dying. That's the end of the movie, by the way. She says fuck I vape like verbatim. It's in the script. Check it out. So she falls off like the fucking cliff and then she like eats shit and she dies or whatever. But like in the ride, they show like her like yeeting herself into infinity. But at the what they did is they changed it and they basically made it like one of those kind of like it's a TV, but like it's not really a TV. Like it's kind of like doing like some 3D shit or whatever. Like it's kind of like 3D shifting like your eye pussies or whatever. It's like a projection, yeah. Like yeah. But then it's like it's basically like Snow White and she's like chilling on the slab and then like what's her fucking dude's fucking asshole prince name, he comes over and he gives her the fucking the makeout, hot makeout, and then she goes like, hey, I'm alive again, and then they jerk each other off.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
so I've never been to any Disney, but have you seen, this might be the projection you're talking about, have you seen the Beauty and the Beast ride in Japan where they do the entire transformation of the beast and it's an animatronic combined with like mirror effects and it's really really fucking good. And if you're listening to this, like just YouTube that shit and you're gonna think it's fucking magic, which Disneyland magic, huh? But it's gonna blow your fucking mind. Even now that I told you how it works, you're gonna be like, wait, what? Hold on.
Okay.
That's illegal,
Well, first things first, Beast was hotter when he was a beast. True facts. He was hotter when he was a beast.
All right, furry.
He had a weird, like, I don't know, his weird, like, way of walking with where he's up on his tippy toes, but he also kind of, like, got that little bit of, like, that, like, the humpback. I don't know, man. He was cooler as a beast because once he changed into human, I was like, that's not hot. I mean, no for me, dog. Like, if this was The Bachelor, I would not give him a fucking rose, bro. He would not move on.
Fair.
Fucking beast. Beast, but only as a beast.
What's his real name?
I don't know. I think it's like Jean-Luc Picard. Who fucking knows, dude? That's Star Trek That's a Star Trek joke. But he's like French, right? So
Thank you for pointing it out to me.
I knew because I'm like, shit. Allegedly Adam, certain merchandise, Adam. I don't know, but I thought his name was like Jean or something because like something like hella French because they're French, right? No?
I mean, you think so with like Belle and Gaston, right?
Yeah. And then fucking literally that little homie's name is LeFou.
Yeah.
He's just the idiot, like the fool.
But maybe we assume it's French because the little candle is French, right?
Oh yeah, Lumiere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's pretty fucking French. Cogsworth is not though. Cogsworth is like English, bruh. Like, wasn't he?
I watched all those old Disney classics only in Dutch, and I think they were all Dutch. But I think Lumiere still had like a French accent. They did him kind of dirty.
But he spoke Dutch.
Yeah.
What does he even sound like, dude?
I don't remember, but I really need to YouTube it after we record just so I can listen to it.
It's cool. We'll just slip it in right here in post, except he won't.
I never will.
We're not that level podcast yet, bitch. But no. Okay, no, they were totally French because like the whole thing is like they said hi to each other in the morning, like walking down the street and shit. They were like bonjour. So they're hella French. That shit's in France. Also, what kind of name is fucking Adam? Adam ain't French. I really thought his name was like Jean. I really thought it was gonna be like Jean or like Hippolyte, or it was gonna be like, like a hella French sounding name,
Philippe.
Jacob.
Yeah. I mean, but if that was it, then in the US version, it would just be Jacob, right? They would do him dirty like that.
Craigslist misconnections. Your name was Adam. It could have been something more Frenchy. 0 out of 10.
But presumably, right? It's unconfirmed.
Yeah. Allegedly. Alleged. So yeah, it was really small, really intimate. So like that's what happened with the Snow White update. There was also we're implementing everybody gotta finna fucking wear a goddamn mask all the time, which you should be doing anyways. Wear a mask, cover your nose, wash your neck, protect your asshole, wear a mask. So you had to wear a mask when you're inside the park, and then you could only eat at designated eating areas, and you had to have food. Like you couldn't just be sitting around there with like your dick in your hand. You had to have food or like a drink, and like you were there for like a purpose, and only then could you take off your mask to like consume something into your mouth pussy. But there was also like plexiglass in between a lot of the ride queues, like inside Space Mountain. There was like the plexiglass that was like there. So it formed like an anti-terrorist net between you and the person next to you or whatever. And then there was like also hand sanitizer basically everywhere. And yeah, inside the like next to the ride stuff, there was always like hand sanitizer like when you got off the ride and stuff. And then yeah, they let you bring hand sanitizer into the park as well. And they also had these little stations, where you put your hand underneath and it goes like and it like splooges on you. So they had those too, kind of all around. So that's kind of like basically a lot of the CDC guidelines that they had. They also were like making sure that everybody, when you were kind of standing next to each other, that you were there weren't too many of people like congregating, because you were only allowed to have like basically a party with like 3 households. And if you had more than 3 households, then like basically the Disney snipers came in and they like took the shot and they took you out, but they didn't shoot you. But they basically had somebody tell you, like, you have to disperse, like, this is more than 3 households, like, you can't be swapping air and shit. So they kind of broke up people that were, like, in large groups, and social distancing was enforced, so, like, you couldn't just loiter in the middle of a fucking hallway and, like, be chatting there with your fucking friends. Like, someone would come over and be like, hey, you fuck off, kind of thing. Not in those words. Like, they said it in a very, like, Disney, yeah. They said it in a very Disney magical way. But the mouse himself was just like, oh,
please fuck off.
I can't do my Mickey Mouse voice, but my voice is like this. I'm sorry. It's fun.
Please don't, because we might get copyright struck if you do.
All right. Yeah.
Also, tangent, pro tip for everybody out there. If you ever film an 18+ video of yourself and you don't want it to spread on the internet, while you're filming it, play Disney music, because then Disney's lawyers will be forced to take that shit down everywhere. So protect yourself.
At the same time, people are doing that for like police officer body cams. Like they'll just start playing Disney music so then it gets taken down off the internet, which is fucked up.
That's fucked up.
Anytime you turn off your body cam, it should fucking count as tampering with evidence. Get fucked on.
I agree.
That's my fucking personal opinion.
Yes.
But yeah, the Disneyland thing ended up like I felt very safe. I felt like I was not at risk at all. going there. And like I said, like I'm fully vaccinated and I felt comfortable in my group and my party and also the implementations that they had. So I would say if you feel comfortable going to Disneyland, go. Because
Yeah.
I feel like they are taking it very seriously and they are trying to protect the guests. And also all the Disney characters were in places that were 6 feet away where like guests couldn't come and like, interact with them, which was like, fine, like you can take a picture from 6 feet away. It's fine. Like,
Yeah.
it's not that big of a fucking deal, bro.
Is there going to be a cap once they officially open, like a cap on amount of guests they can have?
Yeah, probably.
Because, otherwise it doesn't really matter
Yeah.
if you have so many guidelines in place. If there's just too many people, you can't enforce all of them, right?
Yeah, exactly. So like right now, I think for the first like 3 months up until like July, maybe even August, I don't fucking know, but they're basically making it so that it's California residents only. So if you have a California ID, you can buy a ticket, but if you are outside of California, you can't come to the park yet.
Yeah. Hopefully it works out, right? Because like that's always, I guess, the general feeling of being afraid when things open up again, that people are just gonna swarm like en masse because they haven't really done anything for like the past year, right? So like, oh shit, now I finally get to, and then everybody goes, right? Like that's like my secret fear, that people are gonna do that to an excessive amount, right? Like that it's gonna be more than usual because people were just homestuck for a year,
No, I agree. People are going stir crazy, so they're getting fucking stupid and they want to just do whatever. I totally agree. And that's totally something that might happen. I don't know how they're going to be implementing. They'll probably have like a cap on ticket sales and just be like, look,
Yeah. I mean, I'm not talking about Disney specifically, just in general, right? Like when stuff reopens again, are people just gonna go crazy
I
about
mean,
it?
stuff's already technically open here again. So, I mean, there's certain people that are already swarming places. Like, I don't know, like I went to go see a movie and they were like really good about implementing, CDC guidelines and having adequate space between people as well as like air purifiers inside the movie theater and shit. But as soon as you left, it was like at the Irvine Spectrum, which is like an outdoor mall. There's tons of people walking around, weren't doing the 6 feet. There was people even walking around without fucking masks on. And I was just like, wow, okay, I feel uncomfortable. And then I left.
Yeah. So for me, like I don't know what really is open because I'm not going anywhere until I get vaccinated anyway. But we are like slowly lifting certain restrictions, like month by month. And a recent restriction we lifted was that you can't have any guests over at the house, or I think it was like limited to like one person or something, right? But now it got lifted to I think like 3 or 5. Literally day one, college students like who live below me threw a party. That's like, bro, really? Day one? You're just gonna really just like that, huh? Was kind of my mindset about it.
Yeah. I mean, they're also like dumbass college kids that are probably like, I'm invulnerable. And then,
Oh yeah, like I mean, like they've been throwing parties throughout, and then the government was like, hey, this is illegal. If you get caught doing this, you'll get fined. And I guess they're broke enough to not risk that. you know?
I mean, sometimes the best way to hit them is right in the wallet.
Yeah.
That swells the pussy. No, just kidding. A pussy can take a pounding. So, just saying.
Well, depending on your wallet. If you're rich, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah, if you're rich, then you're just kind of like, but like, yeah, poor college students, yeah, absolutely, they wouldn't be able to fuck with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's pretty much all that's been kind of fucking going on in my life. How are things going on with you, Scoob?
A lot of Octopath more than anything. I technically finished it, but also technically not, I guess is a better way to put it. Octopath is, I guess to explain it briefly, is a JRPG by Square, and it has 8 main characters that each have 4 chapters each. And you can pick and choose. You can literally beat the game with one character. You can go through all 8 characters' chapters. The game really doesn't have an ending. And I beat all the chapters with all characters, and then the game just, that's it. Like it doesn't do anything. No congratulations, no credits, no nothing. Like the credits roll once you beat your first chapter 4. Everything after that is, I guess, bonus. But there's like a whole side quest, which I have my own issues with because you're supposed to stumble upon it and it's not like clear, it's not marked on the map. And once you do that, that unlocks the epilogue of the game, which the idea is really cool because the epilogue has a lot of content in terms of story. It weaves in like a lot of lore that made me go like, oh shit, this would actually be really cool if the game was built like this from the ground up and if this was like woven in throughout the entire story. Because then you find out that all those 8 characters are somehow like interconnected and not just 8 random separate stories.
Yeah.
But
But
to go into the last area, and I guess spoilers for people who don't want any of this spoiled. The game is a couple years old, but I can understand.
exactly. So if you haven't fucking beaten the game, like mute.
And if you have plans to, maybe like mute for a little bit.
Yeah. Mute for a minute.
Maybe longer because I'm going to go on a fucking rant about this.
All right, here we go.
But you get your save before you enter the area. then when you enter, you have to do a boss rush of 8 bosses. And then you have to do the last boss, in which for the first time in the game, you have to make 2 parties. So usually, like, you have a party of 4 out of the 8 characters, and that's what you kind of play the game with. And you can switch them out, but for the first time, you have to use all 8 characters at the same time. So you're expected to have good gear, have good levels, give them the jobs that you want them to have, et cetera, et cetera.
But also have like some sort of way of like where you're setting up your 4 different groups in a synergistic fashion.
Exactly, right? Like, you
Because
can
if you don't plan for that, then you're just kind of like,
exactly. And the game doesn't warn you about that until it happens. So,
fuck.
like, as in, like, they tell you, like, hey, like, maybe, like, are you sure, like maybe you should go back and save. But the game doesn't tell you, like, hey, you're gonna need to use all 8 characters. Like, it doesn't warn you about that. So if you go in fully blind, I fully expect you're gonna wipe. And I went in semi-blind. Paul told me, like, hey, so you don't waste your time, you're gonna need all 8 characters for the last boss. I was like, thank you. I'm gonna end stream here instead of doing this boss rush. I'll continue it Friday, right?
Yeah.
And then I spent 8 fucking hours off stream grinding to get appropriate level and like gear and stuff for the off party.
Yeah. So you actually stood a chance with your party that wasn't your strong party.
Exactly. And I went in pretty confident. Like, I was a little bit nervous because I didn't want to fail. Boss rush was super easy. I had a specific tactic set up and the boss rush ruined it. So I had to like kind of improvise last second.
Mm.
The TLDR is there's a trait that the lower HP you have, the more damage you do. So I set up a character to have 1 HP. And then on the last boss rush boss, he leveled up, which healed him to full HP and MP, and there was nothing I could do to lower it anymore. So that kind of bit me in the foot. And then the first phase of the boss went really well. It was pretty flawless, I would say. Like, no danger of dying. It kind of went all according to Keikaku, you know?
Yeah. I was there for that. It looks solid, Scoop.
Yeah, music slapped. Good times, right? Like, I was using character I'd never used before. I was even employing tactics I just had came up with on the spot just so I could make everything as smooth as possible. And I was doing the one thing that I never do in JRPGs is I revolve my tactic around consumable items. So, like, yeah, I have these, fucking mega elixirs that I've been hoarding all game, and I'm just gonna use them because fuck yeah, right? And then the second fight rolls around, second phase. I'm like, all right, I feel more confident about this phase. That, like, this phase has also like 2 really strong characters, and it's going pretty poorly. The boss is doing a lot more damage than I expected because the one prepared damage dealing character I had was at full HP. His damage was like more than halved. And I get to the last stage of the boss fight, and I got a little bit greedy. To not go into details, but I think it was preventable. But I just died. Like, 3 characters at full HP just got one shot. And my last save was almost 2 hours ago. So if I want to retry it, I have to do the boss rush again. But clearly my tactics weren't good enough, so I either have to grind a little bit more or think up of a different strategy. So I'm looking at like at least 2 more hours, probably like 3 or 4 if I include leveling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
To try again. Not even to guarantee, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that upsets me because if I include the off-stream grinding, that was like a 10-hour attempt. And it's like, it doesn't matter like what the end of the fucking rainbow holds. This gold is not worth it. Like, this pot of gold is going to suck, right?
Yeah.
So for me, the game was absolutely amazing and great up until the epilogue. Like, I already didn't like that you needed to get a side quest for it and that I had never started it and it's just missable and everything like that. And that was like a whole chore. And then the grinding and then the failure. Again, it was probably avoidable. Like, if I'd played it safe, I was maybe like 2 or 3 turns away from winning. But I didn't think I was gonna fucking die in 1 turn, you know?
Yeah. So I mean, are you gonna go back and try to like do it, or are you just fucking done? You just scoopers.
I'm done. I'm just gonna YouTube the ending, dude. Like, I basically beat the boss, right? Like, that was the
Yeah.
last fight. So, like, I was a couple turns away. I've experienced it. I got greedy, and now I'm being punished, and I have to like play for a couple of hours to retry just to get a little bit further, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's the difference in struggling in a boss against like Dark Souls, where your attempts are like you're improving every attempt and you're getting further, and you get to retry instantly. If I could save before the last boss,
Yeah.
I would have just kept going until I got it on stream.
Yeah. But the fact that like, yeah, I remember you saying like specifically, you're like, dude, the last time I saved was like almost like 2 hours ago.
Yeah. because the game doesn't let you save any later than that. And it's so dumb because the entire game, I even brought it up super early on the playthrough. Literally every area in the game, be it in a dungeon, be it on the world map, every town has a save point.
Yeah.
And then you get another save point right in front of the boss in the dungeon area, always.
Yeah.
I even said, like,
That's how you know it's coming. You're like,
yeah.
oh, well, here's a save point.
Yeah, I even said, like, at this point, why didn't they just let us save whenever we want if it's literally every fucking screen? Because every screen is like 2 minutes long. Like, the zones are very, very short in Octopath. So it's like, why don't you just let us save wherever we want? So it's just very deliberate and on purpose that they wanted you to feel. Because, like, again, if you're going in blind, unless you play a very specific way where you overlevel all 8 characters and keep all of them geared up and everything, you're going to wipe. So they deliberately want you to do that boss rush a second time through, and I think that's just shitty. So for me, the game was amazing up until the epilogue. Solid game, amazing soundtrack, blah blah blah, all that good stuff with its own fault, but don't really need to go into those. And then the epilogue brings it down by a lot. I would even recommend don't play the epilogue. Just forget it exists.
Just get that chapter 4 good feeling and then just dip.
Yeah, because the game doesn't even tell you, like, hey, maybe there's a side quest you missed. Nothing. It's just you complete chapter 4 and you open your map and there's nothing. Like, no congratulations, no thank you, no nothing. You just, that's it. So just treat it like that.
There you go.
At that point, just save and hit quit game and salute it as you go, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there was that. I mean, that's why, like, when we went and we were in that other guy's Twitch chat where he was just like, "Did you beat Octopath or did you beat Octopath?"
Yeah, like, did you finish? Did you finish? And I was like, almost finished. And he was like, nope, fuck that, nope, because he had the same mentality, right? It's like it's bullshit.
They literally set you up to fail so that you would
Yeah.
have to try again, which is kind of shitty. And they should probably give you a little bit more warning before they do it. But at the same time,
Dude, just give us a save. Just give us the option to leave the area before the last boss so we can save and or grind up or whatever.
I'm surprised.
Don't make us do the boss rush, because the boss rush is easy. It's just time consuming.
Yeah, I'm just surprised that there's not some sort of consumable item that you could use in order to save.
Anything, right?
Give me a tent, bitch. Give me a tent so I can do a slap.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Save my game and then I'll keep going. Yeah, that's why.
Like I said, it just feels very anti everything you've learned about the game, because that's not how saves have worked at all up until just that one very specific point. So it's just, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, basically they conditioned you to have a feeling around something and they fucked you over on it on like the last portion of the game, which is weird. So another game that I can think of that kind of did the same thing where you were conditioned going into it was like when you went and you start, okay, so for like Dead Space 1 versus Dead Space 2.
Oh.
Dead Space 1, whenever you were in a fucking elevator, you were fine because that's basically how the disguised loading screens was in elevators. And so when you started playing Dead Space 2, you get into an elevator, you're like, all right, I'm good. But just kidding, you get fucking attacked by a goddamn necromorph like in the elevator. And so Dead Space literally went, hey, it's not safe anymore.
Yeah.
And they slapped your hand. They're like, you've been conditioned to think that you're fine here, but now you're not.
I mean, I would even say that's even okay, because that's a sequel, right? It's a different game. It's not like, imagine if Dead Space conditions you to elevators are safe, and then you ride the last elevator, you get fucked on, and then you get transported back 2 hours into the game. Like, that would be more equivalent, right?
Yeah, exactly. That would be like an apples to apples thing. But I'm just saying, like, that's like a good way of saying, you know, like showing like this is where they teach you conditioning in the first game, and then like in the second game they're like, "Ha, shit's a little different here."
Yeah.
Versus your game where they're just like, "This is how the game has been throughout the entire thing, but now it's different just specifically on this last boss. And if you didn't fucking pick it up, then haha, you're a loser."
Yeah, like I said, like also the very first time and only time, you know, where you have to do 2 battles back to back with a different party that you predeterminedly set up. And I don't know, it just feels very weird game design. Like, it's on purpose just to artificially extend the play. Like, I don't even see the point of it. Like, it doesn't make it any more difficult. It just makes it more grindy, right? Because that's my solution. I'll have to grind for a couple more hours and then just try again and then beat it. Like, you know, because the first phase went really well. So I don't know. But I'm never going to do that. Fuck it. We're moving on from Octopath. I had a great time. I'm just not going to count the epilogue. But yeah, technically I didn't finish it. But again, whatever cutscene plays after you beat the last boss is not worth the already 10 hours I put into the epilogue, if I count like the whole side quest and the grinding and everything like that.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I probably wouldn't put up with that shit either. I'd be like, all right, I'm good. I'll just fucking get to the ending and call it a day.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what I did when I played Little Hope. Like I told you, like there was like different endings for Little Hope or whatever, but then I was playing with a friend and then they failed the quick time event and so one of the characters died and I was just like, well, I'm just gonna fucking YouTube the ending because this is my third time trying to get it. And so at this point I just don't give a fuck.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, it's kind of like, I'm not averse to challenge. I love, like, the Octopath does have, like, secret bosses for, like, advanced jobs. Loved those fights. They were challenging, like, they were fun to figure out, like, how to break them and how to, like, win. Great. I got super hyped when I discovered that was in the game.
Yeah.
So, and I love to be challenged in video games, but there needs to be like a decent or like at least a fair or a humane challenge to reward ratio, right?
Damn, okay, humane. So they literally put you through from just inhumane conditions, inhumane gaming conditions.
Yeah, dude. I have to fucking grind for 8 hours for nothing. Like, imagine doing that as a job every day. You'd lose your goddamn mind.
Yeah. Imagine being butt fucked that hard. But at the same time, there are people to do that fucking all the time. Like the QA people that had to QA the game probably had to do that fight multiple times and shit.
Yeah, but they probably also have access to a build where they can fight the last boss back to back to back, right?
Yeah, probably.
But then again, QA teams always get fucked. They don't really get much of a say
No.
in anything, unfortunately.
No, they don't.
You know, like, I'm sure somebody was like, hey, why is it like this? Like, this isn't fun. And the answer you got back is like, you're fired. Shut up. You know?
I didn't ask for your opinion, worm.
Yeah. Go back to your cubicle, peasant.
Exactly.
You have 16 more hours on the clock.
Exactly.
I don't know. Like I said, it just feels very, very weird to that in the game. It hasn't functioned like that whatsoever. So it just threw me off. It's just bad game design. I'll say it. Fuck it. It's bad and they should feel bad about it.
Damn. Shots fired.
I mean, if you disagree with this,
comment below.
Comment below so that I can dislike that comment.
Do it while you still can, because the dislikes are not going to be here for much longer, right?
I don't know. I mean, for videos, I don't know if it's going to affect comments or not. Those might still be upvotable and downvotable.
Oh.
I don't know, actually.
Well, never mind then. Either way, if you find yourself down there, go ahead and leave a little comment. Or if you want to learn more about, I don't know, fucking time at Disneyland or something, I'm happy to answer as well. But yeah, leave a little comment, poo. Leave us some love.
Yeah.
Ask us questions. Also, if you happen to know anything about Vor, I'm still very much seeking that answer.
This is true.
Vor Lords, rise up. Please respond. Thank you.
This is true. I too am still curious about the Vor.
Why don't you fucking answer? I'm just kidding.
Just eat us already.
Yeah. Tell me why you want to be eaten.
Wait. All right. Follow-up question, the Vor. If you're going to answer and if you're going to explain it to us, docs from like, do you want to do the voring or do you want to get vored?
Yes.
And if so, and if you have a distinction, please explain why.
Why? Yes. Please do. I would like to know why. Do you want to eat somebody or do you want to be eaten? I would like to know. Even if you feel uncomfortable commenting below because it's public, slide into my DMs.
Bro, if you feel uncomfortable, just make a new email, a new account, call it Vorlord. It's fine. We'll never question you.
Vorlord
just
69.
Nice.
Please, we must know.
We're desperate.
Speaking of Vorlord 69, this is not a good segue. This is very much a you segue.
Rude.
What if you...
I think it's an excellent segue.
What if you named your D&D character Vorlord 69?
Are you asking me if I were, like, if I did that? Like what if I did that? Or what I would do if I was a player or if I was a DM?
Both. Because I knew somebody that named their fucking D&D character Tyrannanox, and it made me want to perform a lobotomy on myself.
I don't get the reference.
And there is no reference. They just wanted to sound like a stupid dinosaur.
First of all.
But they're a barbarian.
First of all, the Tyrannosaurus Rex is not stupid.
He's got dumb hands. Look at his dumb fucking limp dick hands.
I mean, that's true. That makes him funny, though. Like, just you know.
Okay, yeah, but at the same time, do you look at T-Rex and be like, this is the epitome of fucking dinosaur? Just fucking, wow.
No.
Look at that. Majestic.
No, but I don't look at any dinosaur like that. But before we go on a dinosaur tangent, as a DM, I would tell them they have to change their name because Warlord 69 is not a thing. Like, if you wanted to be close, like, I would accept, like, I don't know, like Vore Lordain or something, you know? That's acceptable. It's like, you know what it means? because like I sometimes do nods like that. Like an old character of mine, so what I did for his backstory, like, you know what? For once, he's gonna have a living family. I'm gonna make him come from like a big adoptive family, but I'm gonna roll the dice to see how many family members he has. I rolled a fucking 17. so so he had like 17 brothers and sisters. So you know what? Like his parents were named Bradley and Angie. So it's like, yeah, it's a small nod. You know, like I think that stuff is fine. If I was a player in that campaign of Warlord 69, I would look at my watch and be like, oh gosh, I guess I don't have time to play D&D. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to have to bow out. Oh no, this is horrible. Because that's a huge red flag, and they're going to be the chaotic, so random type character.
Oh, yeah. Chaotic XD, random, chaotic evil, where I
Yeah.
just burned down the orphanage to hear the children scream.
Yeah. So I would want out.
That's like a D&D red flag. It's kind of like, you know, when you go on a date with somebody and then they just immediately dox that they're like a Scientologist or they are a flat earther. And you're just like, all right, well, check.
Yeah.
Check, please.
Basically.
Gotta go.
That's the like D&D speed dating, right?
Yeah. Character's name is Warlord69 and you're chaotic evil. I'm out.
Yeah. I mean, if you were at least chaotic evil, you know what? That's better than chaotic neutral, so random XD.
That's the thing is like, I feel like, okay, one, I am very offended by that because I typically play chaotic neutral characters. But also,
No, I mean, I get that. And so I played a lot too, but chaotic neutral on its own is not bad. Chaotic neutral XD is bad.
XD, the XD, the RAR,
Yeah.
the RAR XD scene kid
Because a
moment.
lot of people will play the neutral character, the chaotic neutral one, so they can be a murder hobo, but then pretend to be the good guys, right? Like they just want to be able to do anything and claim that it's in character, no matter how outrageous it is.
See, that like offends me as someone who's like fucking chaotic neutral. I'm like, man, no, you just,
I'm chaotic neutral a lot too, but
yeah.
like I work within very specific confines of that. Like, you know, like I can't like burn an orphanage just because, lol, I wanted to see how quickly it would burn down, and then get offended the next session when like a party member kills an NPC because how dare you? Like I'm talking about those types of players who play chaotic neutral in that type of way, right?
Yeah.
Therefore, the chaotic neutral XD, right?
The chaotic neutral X.
Which is very different. So no, like I play chaotic something a lot actually, because
Yeah.
I like the chaotic prefix, because you can apply your own morality, your own sense of justice or
Yeah.
injustice if you're an evil character to it. Like I don't like being lawful in a party setting.
Yeah.
Because you have to inherently limit, unless somebody's lawful, I guess. But it's like you have to inherently limit your party in character, and that's going to cause strife and conflict, and it's usually not fun.
I agree. The only time where lawful is fun is if you're when you're lawful evil.
I mean, I played a lawful good, but exactly, right? That's fun. I also played a lawful good paladin that ended up being a lot of fun, and it worked out really well in the party. But it's like I don't know, like it's just hard for me, especially in most typical fantasy settings that D&D takes place in. You're lawful, so you won't even like steal an apple that's worth not even a copper to give to like a starving child. And if a party member does that, you'll probably have to like reprimand them in character. Like, come on, man. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. No, for sure. Exactly. But I mean, at the same time, it's like, I just feel like lawful's just not fun in general because who likes somebody that's goody two shoes? But
yeah,
at the same time, I fucking love like lawful evil is great because it's basically like you're making deals with the devil. And I fucking love that. It's like, yeah, you ever thought about selling your soul for a corn chip?
yeah. Or you obey the hierarchy and the law and the rules set by your evil establishment, right?
Yeah.
And that might be a rule of like, don't kill your comrades, but kill everybody else. You know.
Yeah, like Lamal. Yeah.
You
So
know,
agree. Lawful evil is fun.
lawful good is fun. However, discuss it with your party during character creation. Be like, hey, how would you guys feel if I played a lawful good X? Because don't just roll up with one, especially if you don't like share what kind of class you're going to play or backstories or like alignments with each other. You might end up in an all evil party, and that's just going to be a party fight in the first session, right?
I mean, I've only played like one evil campaign, but that was pretty cool. Had a good time.
Yeah. I mean, I think usually that gets announced, right? But still, it's definitely something. If you want to play a lawful good, especially like lawful neutral, I think gets a little bit more leeway. But if you want to play a lawful good, especially paladin or something, bring it up during character creation, because it might just cause too much conflict, and then nobody's going to have fun. Maybe you, because you get to be the paladin who smites everybody, but at the end of the day, the entire table should be having fun and not just you.
I agree. I played a lawful neutral, like completely like justice driven, basically inquisitor for the most part. And like that was like a good time, but I was playing with someone that was like a rar XD, so random.
Yeah.
And that campaign legitimately ended because my character tried to kill the party member. That was lol XD so random because they rather than we were like stuck somewhere like in a dungeon and there was a baby fey dragon and I was basically trying to ask baby fey dragon how they got there and then that person just saw that there was an altar like a sacrificial altar and then just immediately murdered the baby fey dragon and then smeared its blood on the altar.
Bruh.
Yeah, because they were raw XD so random. So then that character was actually pretty cool because I basically built them as they were just like a trip lord. Like all they would do, their whole thing was that they would trip people, so they would fall on the ground and then you give them the stab, right? That was her entire build. She was just trip them and dip them, boys, trip them and dip them. So yeah, I was like, okay, I'm going to attack Tyranninox, and then dead ass like I was playing with my dad, and my dad was just like, I mean, we're playing like together as like a team. Do you really want? And I'm like, no,
We were
like
up until this point.
we were fine up until this point. This would go strongly against my character and what they stand for, so we're gonna fucking fight.
Yeah.
And then my DM was just like, all right, let's see your roll. Like,
Yeah.
I was ready. Like we were ready. Like I was gonna do it. Like I was gonna fucking kill him. And then it caused a big
Oh yeah.
big family hullabaloo.
I mean, I have a similar-ish story. It's maybe a little bit long-winded, but who cares?
Do it, you won't.
This was like an evil campaign, and like very homebrewed in the sense of we started at like level 6 or something, and the DM had already said like, "Hey, I want this to be like a fast campaign. So every session, you guys are gonna level up." And like we were working for like this evil organization, and he even made like a skill tree for the organization that we could take on top of the feats and stuff like that. So it was meant to be like a very high powered campaign that we were going to blaze through. And I played a rogue. I think that was actually my first rogue that I ever decided to play. And my rogue was very paranoid. So like we got a base of operation from the evil organization. It's like, no, I don't trust that. So like I bought like land somewhere and like private housing, and I put like alarm spells all over it that would ring in my head. And so if anyone got near it, I would know. And then I had inside the house, there was like a couple levers. One of them led to like a secret second house in case, you know, she needed to flee or anything. So it was just very like the party never found out about that house. I put in so much money and time into that shit. Nobody ever found out. And one of the goals she had, I don't remember why, but like she wanted to like liberate a piece of land and then control it, to be like the good kind of mafia, basically, right? You know, like I'm still doing shady shit, but I'm gonna look after my people, kind of situation.
Yeah.
Like everybody who lives there is under my protection, and don't you fuck with us, kind of deal.
Okay.
So I initially scouted like an area that was like pretty abandoned, except it was like swarmed with vampires. Like, ooh, that's pretty tough. So I went to our barbarian companion. It's like, hey, if you clear out this den, I'll reward you with money. And he was like, all right, I'll do it. And I'll tell him like, and you can also keep whatever you find, right? All the loot.
Yeah.
But I didn't trust him. So like while he was going there, I followed him in stealth. Motherfucker just literally made a deal with the vampires to murder me. He was gonna go back and then tell me that it was cleared out, and then he was gonna lead me there, and then I was gonna get ambushed. Unprovoked, by the way. Like we didn't have any sort of spat before that. Like, oh, I see how it is. So I concocted this 5D chess plan. Still to this day, I murdered him.
Yeah.
Obviously, in his sleep. Then I stored his soul in his soul stone, so he couldn't be resurrected. Then I planted evidence at the other party member's house, basically like piece of his dress and stuff like that, so that he would get blamed. And to take the extra step for scrying, I casted a spell on myself to overwrite my memory of like the last 8 hours. Like I was just like fucking around and sleeping. So even if you scried my memories, you wouldn't see the murder happening. TLDR, people got really mad IRL.
Stay mad, bro.
Like really mad, and they didn't talk to me for 9 months.
That's it.
They got really upset because I 5D chessed them. Like, fuck you. You wanted to betray me. Don't pretend like you were the good guy in this. Like because I wasn't gonna betray him. Like I had no plans to murder anybody.
No, you were just like, I would just like it if you could just clear this out for me. That'd be cool, bro.
Yeah, you get some money, you get to keep the loot.
Yeah.
Whatever, you know.
Little did you know.
But no, you had to make a deal with the vampire. On my watch, you don't.
No, I get it.
Right.
No, I get it. I mean, so weirdly enough, I've actually like I've never played a rogue. I've literally only played like a ranger, and that's like the closest I've been to that archetype. Or a bard. I've also played a bard, but I've never
Mm,
actually played like a strict rogue. And I've also never played a paladin because whenever I play, I usually play in a group of my family members, and my eldest sister usually wants to be a rogue, so she usually makes a rogue. And then I usually play with my dad, and my dad either makes a paladin or a ranger.
mm,
So I usually end up just playing whatever the fuck I feel like playing. That's like not those two classes for the most part,
yeah.
because they're also the type that likes to kind of like consult on what class they're going to be making and
Mm-hmm.
all that good stuff. But I think the closest thing I ever got from playing a rogue was when we played the Star Wars tabletop.
Oh,
There's a Star Wars tabletop RPG, and I was like a Chiss mercenary, and so that was like the closest that they had to like a traditional rogue. But even then, I had a blaster, and anyways, I came out blasting.
unless they're a blast, and yeah. No, for me, that was my first rogue, and this campaign was like years into my D&D history. We never shared what we were gonna play. I actually prefer that in like in a group because, like you said, oh well, because my family, my dad played this, my sisters like to play that, so I don't play that,
Hmm.
right? Like, so you're just limiting yourself, or you're purposely choosing something else, like fill a role in the party.
Hmm.
And I feel like if you're gonna play for months or possibly years on end, eventually you're gonna be like, man, that could have been me. I could have been doing this, or so. Like, I just like to play what I want to play, regardless of how good or bad it is. Or
Yeah.
like if there's five of us, and all five of us roll up a barbarian that can't read, fuck it, let's roll with it. See how far we get, right?
See, I'm down for that because I don't know, I think like the chaos would be funny. At the same time, it's like the biggest part of D&D for me is the role playing and like seeing how your character would be and doing what your character would
Mm-hmm.
do and stuff like that. So like the class is like, the class is just having fun basically in combat for me. Like the character itself is just the character itself,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, like I mean, I'm mostly used to playing Pathfinder, which even if you roll the same class, is going to be very unlikely that you make the same character mechanically, let alone personality and roleplay wise.
Yeah.
And like compared to like let's say fifth edition, where feats are a lot more rare, so you could tailor a lot of feats for roleplay purposes, right?
Yeah, for sure.
In fifth edition, I mean, to be fair, I don't have much experience with fifth edition. I wouldn't know where to begin other than, well, I'm going to be a fighter. Like, let's say if I want to be a trip character,
Hell yeah.
like, okay, I'm going to be a fighter. And then I don't know where I go from there, right? While in Pathfinder, I already know I can be very specific. Like, I don't need a reach weapon. Like, I, at some point, made it as a concept. Never got to play it or really flesh it out. But I had a trip character with fucking tonfas.
Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
right, like dual wielding and tripping. Like, hold on, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And then the whole idea was that she got attacks of opportunity if she tripped somebody. So she was a dex based tripper, and then whenever she did trip somebody, she would immediately attack and then get another attack opportunity if they decided to get up.
Yep.
So, but I wouldn't know how to do that in fifth edition. No clue, right? So more than likely, there's only like one or two ways to do it efficiently. So if two people show up that want to be trippers, it's going to be the exact same character mechanically, right?
Yeah.
So I totally understand, if you played more fifth edition, that you're also more willing to share what you're going to play to avoid that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think the feat that you would take for that particular build in 5th edition is Sentinel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it, right? That's all you kind of get to take. You don't really get to specialize or diversify beyond that,
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, also like 5th edition's being like expounded upon and stuff. But
Of course. Like, I'm not, maybe in 5 years it'll be so much bigger, or in 10 years, right? Who knows where it'll be then. But
yeah, I mean, yeah,
but basically in that sense, right? Like I never wanted to discuss what people were gonna play, because just knowing a class doesn't really tell you anything. Because even if somebody plays a ranger, like maybe they're playing a melee ranger, maybe they're playing two-handed combat. You don't know,
yeah.
right?
And that's one thing that was interesting is that when my dad, the last campaign that we did when my dad made a ranger, he made a dual wielding ranger,
Yeah.
and that was really cool.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. I've never played a ranger. Also never played a wizard or a warlock.
Well, let's just
But I played like clerics and paladins and rogues and bards, and homebrew classes and like advanced classes as well. Like I played a lot of stuff, but typically our campaigns would go on for quite a while, and we would only either really switch if either the DM like kind of wrote himself in a corner, and that could have been either for plot reasons or we were getting too strong too quickly or something, or maybe he just got bored of the campaign.
Yeah.
Or like half the party would just wipe, and like, all right, it makes a lot more sense roleplay wise to just reboot a new campaign.
Yeah, because I mean that also happened in our last play. So I ruined one of them because, well, I technically didn't. I'm the LOL XD chaotic person ruined one of them, and my character killed him. So worth it. But then the second one, I think the GM just kind of ran out of steam. I was really sad about that one because I was so invested in my character. Like, I fucking loved him. He was my half elf bard that was just like, he had a curly mustache and he just was so ridiculous. And he would say,
Your half elf bard is a D&D version of Grandia 2 for you.
yes, my half elf bard is my magnum opus. Though I'm really excited for my new character they just created.
Wait,
she's super cute.
Wait. Well, no. If you want to hear more about our new characters, tune in next week.
Oh shit, I didn't realize it was time.
Yeah,
Shit.
no,
Oh
and
my
I'm
God.
gonna leave them on a good ass juicy cliffhanger.
Okay, juicy.
But yeah,
oh damn.
If you like what we do, leave a like, maybe subscribe, hit that bell to be the first one to listen to our juicy next episode.
Juicy.
I'll be one of your hosts, Milan, signing off for the week, joined by my lovely co-host.
Yeah, it's me. It's Kelly. Voice cracked. Yeah.
All right, we'll see you next week.
Juicy. Bye.
Bye.